Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how are we talking?
Girls who are teenagers.
Rolex on your wrist, a plain giant.
Or someone to come home with me. All you have to do is be
Quit playing. I didn't do this stuff. But just use your common sense. This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. This is not about music.
What up and welcome back. It's your girl Jane, the plainest Jane, and we got some syrup to get into. Come on in, hit thumbs up. If you see the image just on the screen right here, you'll see that this is allegedly, right? Allegedly. We talked about this in one of the last upload or live streams that I did. Joycelyn Savage allegedly wrote a book. It's supposed to be a tell-all memoir of her experiences with R. Kelly along with an alleged pregnancy, right? It's supposed to be an 11-page book. People are curious about what's in it, although a lot of us don't have high hopes. We're really just looking to laugh. We're going to get into that in the after show, which is going to be backstage members only. So I just wanted to let you know that that's what's coming directly after this live stream. As y'all get comfortable, settle in and find a seat on the bus. All right. Y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. It's time to get into it. Me and my co-host are here to break down what happened today in court with R. Kelly. Well, all right. There you have it. Thank you, Leo. Thank you for being such a good co-host today. All right. You're going to finish licking the crumbs. That's it. That's it, buddy. Come on, get down. We've got a show to do. All right, everyone. Y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. And 11 months after R. Kelly's conviction and 7 weeks after his sentence, and he's back in court to face his Chicago trial, which is it's kind of like a redo of the 2008 trial that he had, but it is not double jeopardy. I repeat, come on in, because I know the R. Kelly fans all day. He's already been tried for this. This is double jeopardy. It's not double jeopardy. Okay, it's not. These are different crimes that he's committed as it relates to the same victim. Not only that, he was in court for one tape and one victim in 2008. It was a long-standing case, but this right here, there are 4 different tapes that he is standing trial for, and there are multiple victims, 4 victims. Plus, there are other charges that weren't even a known factor at the time of the 2008 trial when it transpired. So we're going to get into a lot of this information. There are a lot of misconceptions and misinformation out here as it pertains to R. Kelly and this federal trial, because keep in mind, the last time he faced trial in Chicago, it was on the state level. This is a different beast. This is federal. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing what we can expect from this trial in general. And as I cover it, we're going to talk about the new judge that he is facing, that judge's reputation, what the judge has ruled on in court today. Of course, we're going to go over the charges, all of the evidence that is expected to come up in court, the juror process, right? Because day one was today, which is when it is the jury selection. So we're going to get into which jurors were omitted based on what they've seen or who or what they know, right? Last but not least, we're going to get into some 2008 trial background and why certain people and certain testimonies never made it to see the light of day. All right. So make sure y'all come on and get comfortable on the bus. Y'all know how we do when we talking about R. Kelly or anyone in general. When you're on my bus, pay your fare because it's free to give me that donation, which is a like, right? You can send something to the Cash App. You can send a super chat. Those things are appreciated, although they're not required. And shout out to everybody in the live chat. The room filled up quick. Okay, 165 of us in here. Now, let's get ready for takeoff. Shall we?
The plainest Jane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said, loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
And we're back. As always, I want to give you a trigger warning. Whenever we're discussing R. Kelly and all of his alleged, right, wrongdoings, we have to have a trigger warning, right? Because, you know, these allegations have been following him for decades, him abusing teenagers and having illicit, intimate relationships with them, right? So I got to give a trigger warning. And real quick, right? I hope y'all are feeling all right. I always talk about mental health. Make sure you've tackled what's going on in your world before you get to dibbling and dabbling into R. Kelly's moist, urine smelling world. Okay, make sure you straight. Click away if not, and I'll catch you on the next one, or I'll catch you when you watch this again. Shout out to all my new subscribers, and thank you for 12K. Literally just like 3-4 days ago, I thanked y'all for 11K. So thank y'all so much as the sticky bunch continues to grow again. And of course, before I get into breaking down today's topics and viral events, make sure you subscribe and thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. Just make sure you think critically and independently, regardless of what you hear from me or anybody else. Hey, listen, P-Hive, if you out here trying to come and heckle me about the facts in these tapes, say that shit. Hit the thumbs down and go on about your pissy ass business, okay? So let's get right into it. In general, overall today, it was a mild day in the courtroom. Although the courtroom did laugh in unison a time or two, and we'll get into that, why and how it transpired. I just want to remind you, as we get started with this information, R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years. Now, will he do 30 years based off of the New York City trial, conviction, and sentencing? Not necessarily, because that was a sentence that ran concurrently, okay? That sentence, with it being concurrent, instead of him serving each sentence one after another, a concurrent sentence allows him to serve all of the sentences at the same time, where the longest period of time is 30 years total, right? So concurrent instead of consecutively is the main key factor of a difference between why he's not actually going to serve 30 years, although he was sentenced to 30 years, okay? Now, I want to get into just how this trial is a lot different, obviously, than the New York trial. It's different than all the trials, actually. It's similar to the 2008 trial, but it is different from the New York trial because he's already been convicted in New York, which makes it easier to give him harsher penalties for what he's being accused of now. Right. And so convicted offenders, just to give you some backstory, just to give you an idea of what we're kind of looking at when it comes to R. Kelly, convicted offenders may face harsher penalties if the offender has prior convictions or if the child pornography offense occurred in aggravated situations, defined as the images are violent or sadistic in nature, the minor was sexually abused, the offender has prior convictions for child sexual exploitation, and in these circumstances, a convicted offender may face up to life imprisonment. It's already not looking good for R. Kelly, right? They made sure that they waited until he was convicted somewhere else before they went back to dig into his Chicago grievances, right? Not to mention there was some stuff he was doing with the court, right? Obstruction of justice, which we're going to get into in a second, which is another factor or reason as to why they circled back and said, yeah, let's get him, because he probably got off because he was doing some dirt. And that's basically what the prosecutors have theorized, and that's what they're trying to nail him on right now. Now, y'all know, come on in, hit thumbs up if you haven't already, okay? You haven't already hit thumbs up, make sure you hit that goddamn on button. So y'all know when I'm covering the R. Kelly trial, I start from outside the courthouse and we work our way in. There's typically always a circus out there, fans out there, boom boxes, singing songs, t-shirts, crying, the waterworks, fake sisters, all that other stuff. Nothing. And I do mean nothing. Quiet as a church mouse, nobody outside. They're not playing games with these feds, okay? Literally nothing's going on outside. So now we can go inside of the courtroom, okay? We can go inside of the courtroom. Now, R. Kelly was actually there. A lot of people were asking, I was seeing, was he in court while they're just selecting the jury? Yes, R. Kelly was in court. He wore a gray suit. He wore a brown shirt. He wore a white face mask and glasses as he listened to the judge question the individuals who could end up helping to decide on the case. He sat to the left of his defense attorney, who we all know is Jennifer Bonjean. He was leaning towards her as they whispered back and forth throughout the trial. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to get into, who else is on trial with R. Kelly, right? R. Kelly is not on trial by himself here, right? There are two co-defendants in this trial. Both of them are former employees and associates of R. Kelly who are alleged to have aided R. Kelly in the commission of these alleged crimes. And they, quote, agreed to intimidate, threaten, pressure, persuade, and attempt to persuade some of the victims or accusers or some of the people who actually, because all of them actually that they were kind of trying to intimidate and pay off and all those other things. All of them weren't victims, but they definitely did do that to some witnesses, right? Witness intimidation. So the two other people who are his co-defendants who are on trial along with him are Derrel McDavid and Milton June Brown. Now, Derrel McDavid, and some of their charges kind of intersect one another, but McDavid has charges with helping to fix the 2008 trial, and then Milton June Brown has charges about allegedly receiving child pornography. Okay, so just like R. Kelly, both of them have denied any wrongdoing, and essentially what is predicted to happen is that they're going to end up playing the blame game. They're going to end up turning on one another if they haven't already. In fact, some of them have tried to incriminate the other people, but it's just going to be interesting how it plays out in court in a public setting, right? Definitely expect that to transpire. Although the attorneys of the co-defendants have similar defenses, they're definitely going to turn on one another. So now let's get into what charges R. Kelly is facing, okay? Make sure you hit thumbs up if you haven't already. Excuse me, I need to blow my nose real quick. Hey, thanks for letting me keep you connected and in the know with what's happening in the Black world. Don't forget to smash on that like button for support and for more Black news. All right, so when we get into the charges that R. Kelly is facing, this trial includes 13 charges that were filed in 2019 at the same time that the charges for the New York trial were filed. And the counts include producing child pornography, enticing a minor to engage in criminal sexual activity, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. Now, the more serious charge he's facing is obviously the obstruction of justice as it pertains to his attempts to rig the 2008 trial, including paying off and threatening the girl in the infamous sex tape, the minor in the infamous sex tape, to ensure that she did not testify. Now, when we talk about the last trial, right? The last trial was going to be really important to understand so that you understand how this trial is going to go and the differences between them. We've already said it's not double jeopardy. If you continue to take in some of these details from the former and the present trial, you'll begin to understand that a bit more clear, right? So he was acquitted in 2008. A lot of us know that. This was state court for child pornography. Now he's being brought to trial today because prosecutors allege him and his colleagues, they fixed the trial by way of paying off people for well over $170,000. So he agreed to pay money, or they agreed to pay money and caused money to be paid on R. Kelly's behalf to victims, witnesses, and others to ensure that they would not cooperate with law enforcement and would conceal and cover up evidence, including videos relating to R. Kelly's sexual contact and sexual acts with minors, which were all illegal and illicit. Now, of course, when we talk about the infamous sex tape, most of us know what we're talking about. We're talking about Sparkle's niece, who is referred to in all of the court documentation and as it pertains to this case as minor one, right? There are several minors that are going to be addressed throughout this trial. And in this video, we're only going to be addressing minors 1 and minor 5. Right? So Sparkle's niece is minor 1, and she refused to testify, which made it difficult to convict Robert back in 2008. Now, being convicted for rigging the court system obviously is obstruction of justice. And I want to show you the $170,000 that I had just mentioned, because some of these details, just as alarming as the last time, although they haven't gotten that bad yet. The trial literally just got started. We're going to peel back the layers of this onion. So I want to show you in this court documentation about the $170,000 and just a couple of other details that you might find to be important, right? So this is from the U.S. Attorney's Office. It says recording artist R. Kelly arrested on federal child pornography and obstruction charges. let's go down here and find the $170,000, which we can see right here, right? So let's start from here. When the acquaintance later planned to hold a news conference to publicly announce that he recovered the videos, R. Kelly, McDavid, and the others paid him approximately $170,000 in exchange for agreeing to cancel the event, according to the indictment. Now, mind you, the event was essentially, they paid him off. Eventually, this person felt uncomfortable and they said, listen, I'm going to hold a press conference and let them know that I have copies of these sex tapes of you with minors. I'm gonna hold a whole meeting and everybody's gonna know that you did this, right? And when they planned to hold this news conference, R. Kelly and his crew decided to throw $170,000 at him in exchange for agreeing to cancel the event, right? You can see Kelly and one of his co-defendants, McDavid, also agreed to pay one of the minors and another individual for their efforts to return the videos, but only after they took polygraph exams to confirm that they returned all copies in their possession. It says the indictment seeks forfeiture of a personal money judgment of approximately $1.55 million. Let me repeat that. The indictment seeks forfeiture of a personal money judgment of approximately $1.55 million. Now, the reason why I repeated that line is because R. Kelly is not getting that $27,000 back that they took from him that was in his inmate commissary account, okay? He's not getting it back. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to pull up the indictment and the law just to let you know. Now, mind you, the government doesn't quite have the money yet, right? A lot of people, oh, the government took his money. They didn't. They froze it. It's no different than wage garnishments and things like that. Before they take your money, they freeze your money to see like what's going on while motions are being shuffled back and forth. So I want to show you the verbiage in this indictment just to let you know exactly what the government is doing. I do believe that they're going to keep the $27,000. They technically don't have it yet, like I said, but here it is in black and white, and it's pretty standard with every single indictment, okay? So here it says, the property to be forfeited includes, but is not limited to, a personal money judgment in the amount of at least approximately $155 million. If any of the property described above as a result of any act or omission by a defendant cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence. What they're saying here is he owes $1.55 million, right? Due diligence means you're giving that money to them willingly, of which R. Kelly has failed to do. So essentially what they're saying is if he doesn't give it up willingly, has been transferred or sold or deposited with a third party, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, or has been combined with other property which cannot be divided without difficulty, the United States of America shall be entitled to the forfeiture of substitute property as provided by Title 21 U.S. Code Section 853. Does that say 853? Yes, it does. What this says is if you don't pay us our money, however we see fit to get your money, if you have it available, wherever it is, we're going to get it. So the judge has not yet ruled on if the government can take that money and keep that money. The funds are still frozen. We will see how the judge rules, whether they side with R. Kelly or whether they side with the government in keeping those funds from him. Okay? Is that making sense to everybody? Let me see. There is a super chat. Thank you so much, Turquoise Johnson, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. It says, hey, Jane, catching the live and sending love and light your way. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so let's get back into what was going on in the 2008 trial, because, again, correlating the two will help you understand how and why we are where we are right now with the 2022 trial, okay? So as the 2008 trial unfolded, word started floating around about the location of Sparkle's niece, the alleged victim from the infamous tape. Really sad situation. You might remember if you've seen any still shots. He was in a log cabin and having sex with this really young girl and urinating on her, and she was calling him daddy, and he literally continued to say, give me this 14-year-old PUSSY. Give me that 14-year-old ASS hole. Like, if there was no confirmation that she was underage there, he's literally, Dave Chappelle even told some jokes about this. He literally said numerous times while he was having illegal sex with her, he continued to state her age. I mean, I read up on this stuff all the time. So I'm like, not that I had forgot it, but it like refreshes your memory as I'm reading through things, reading through another article today that is a transcript of it. And I'm like, damn, he did say that in that tape. Just cruddy. Just completely cruddy and foul. It's just terrible. Right, Leo? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Even you know. So, but behind the scenes, right? Because again, this is a 2008 trial. Rumors started floating about where she is. She's not in court. She's not testifying. But behind the scenes, it was well known that the girl had been living in R. Kelly's South Suburban mansion. So she'd even been taken shopping for something to wear on the stand by the wife of an attorney who was on R. Kelly's legal team at that time. But she was never called to testify. What that basically means is this was a victim who was 14 years old, who was sexually abused by R. Kelly. And she was convinced, right? She was paid to be on the defensive side. So R. Kelly and the defense, they were planning to bring her up as a witness to say, hey, I'm not a victim. Obviously, it wasn't a good idea, because if you bring a 14-year-old in there and the 14-year-old says, hey, yeah, I had sex with him, but it was my choice and I wanted to do it, he's still going to jail, right? So it made complete and absolute sense as to why they didn't call her in, but they definitely were planning on doing that, which was stupid. However, they suspected witness tampering, right? The prosecution, the government suspected there was witness tampering, but they couldn't prove it at that time. But here we are today. How many years later? Witness tampering is exactly one of the main reasons why we're here, right? Obstruction of justice, paying people off to lie to the court system or to keep them quiet. And so the tactic that R. Kelly and his defense team at that time used was to bury the court with paperwork, pass a whole bunch of frivolous motions, bury the court with paperwork, delay the proceeding for years, which they did. This was a situation that started way back in 2002. It wasn't until 2008 that that they laid down exactly, that they passed down, a sentence or a verdict, should I say, right? So they successfully delayed that thing 6 years. And I think that R. Kelly thought that that's what was going to happen this time, but it's just not the case, right? And when it came to the prosecutor's smoking gun, which was a videotape showing R. Kelly allegedly having sex with this 13-year-old girl at the time, all they did, his defense team, was they relentlessly questioned the authenticity of the tape. Oh, is this tape really him? Oh, this tape, one of the things that his defense said was, oh, this tape isn't him. It's his brother. It's his brother, Carrie Kelly. Now, him and his brothers look a little alike, but they don't look that much alike. If anything, R. Kelly looks more like the brother that's been in jail rather than Carrie. But then they started debating in court about a mole on his back. There's a mole in the sex tape with him and Sparkle's niece. And they're saying, oh, that mole is not his because R. Kelly's mole is shaped like a caterpillar. And that's just a dot. I guarantee you they drew a goddamn caterpillar on his back, or maybe got him a tattoo. Nonetheless, he got off, a 6-year span in between the trial. People aren't really keeping track of the intensity of the situation. Mind you, they also didn't have the key victim there to testify. She was unwilling along with her parents. Okay. So now let's get into the history of the 2008 case and the evidence. And so I want to go over the 2008 case. And when I say the evidence, I'm not talking about the evidence from the 2008 case. The evidence from this case is also going to give us a better understanding of the 2008 case. It's going to refresh our memory, give us a better context, and give us a better understanding moving forward as I cover the trial, right? So this is really going to help you understand as I continue to cover the trial day by day. It's supposed to be a 4-week thing. This judge is not playing, and I'm going to get into telling you about the judge's reputation in a second. Watching this video and understanding some of these preliminary facts will help you better understand all of my coverage moving forward. That way I don't have to repeat myself day by day as I cover this trial. So the evidence will span a 23-year period, right? So the evidence that is being presented in this trial is from in between 1991 and 2014. They've got evidence from 1991 and 2014 all going to be presented in court in this trial. A lot of evidence, right? If you haven't already taken a moment to hit thumbs up yet, make sure y'all do that, okay? When I do these recaps and I'm giving y'all this information fact by fact, it takes a lot to do, child. And I got off work at 5 o'clock and I still sat there for 4 hours doing all this for y'all. So thank y'all for y'all support and consider subscribing as well. So prosecutors are expected to present jurors 4 different videotapes depicting R. Kelly having sex with a minor, not just one. You might remember from the last trial that I covered, right? And it sucks that jurors really have to watch. I mean, it does, but it doesn't, in a sense that they need to find him guilty. I remember they had to watch a sex tape in the last trial. So explicit, so crazy. I mean, like, they had to watch one, but was it 1 or 2 in the last trial? It damn sure wasn't 4. It was not 4 sex tapes that they had to watch of R. Kelly. They did not have to watch 4 pieces of child porn in the last trial, but they do this time, unfortunately. If you don't remember just how explicit and how disgusting some of the tapes from the last trial that I covered was, here it is. You can see that, you know, with us just having the transcript, there's some splashing noises, right? It says, just in the courts, letting the media listen to audio played for the jury of R. Kelly allegedly hitting a victim because she was suspected of stealing. He says in the tape, keep your eyes closed. R. Kelly can be heard saying, your eyes open? Guess what? We're starting over. Followed by slapping and crying. After the alleged assault, the woman is heard weeping as R. Kelly makes her say over and over, I'm a stupid bitch, daddy. I want you to fix me. R. Kelly then tells her to keep going and that he loves her and that he has her back. Without a frown, R. Kelly said, without an attitude, you do what the fuck I say. The audio goes on for nearly 15 minutes. It's from a video played for jurors alone, not publicly in the courtroom. Now they're playing a clip from later in the same encounter where they're having sex. Splashing is heard with a woman telling R. Kelly, oh, there's piss everywhere. You can hear music in the background. Bodily fluids were involved, according to the prosecutor. Maybe the bodily fluids that they're talking about are more than just pee. I don't know. And I really don't want to spend more time imagining that, right? Okay, so it says that wasn't role play and that wasn't consensual. You saw it with your own eyes, according to the prosecutor. And by the way, the victim testified about that. And the other video with the bodily fluids, she testified about that too. She said it was humiliating. So do you see how nasty he is? And so, you know, when you find unhinged members of the P Hive, you know, arguing and defending him, tell them to calm the hell down. It's like they're in a rush to be pissed on next. Baby, he's not going to pee on you because he'll never be free enough to do so. I get it. You want some urine in your face, but chill the fuck out. He's in jail. He's in jail. God, let's go to the bush.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
It's too much. I just have to remind people, you know what I'm saying? This is for the P-High. I had some of them today because I'm just tweeting about my reporting, letting y'all know what's going on. Here go the P-Hive. I can see your reporting's going to be biased because you've already deemed him guilty. I never said he was guilty. I said the tapes don't lie. But as I look on your page, you're saying free R. Kelly, he's innocent. How are you saying he's innocent and he should be free when he hasn't had his day in Chicago court? You want him to be free. I'm saying the tapes don't lie. You're saying he's innocent and he should walk out. So you're biased. How are you saying he's innocent when these tapes don't lie? Bye. Y'all need to stop. The P-Hive is out of control. Real bad.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to grow up. Grow up. Tired of telling y'all to grow up. Y'all need to stop it. I'm tired of it, y'all. You ain't finna work me out.
It's too much. It's too much. Let me get this off the screen because this is quite disgusting. Okay? Sick of that. All right. Lord. Another woman, right? We'll keep going with the evidence. Another woman identified as minor 5. Remember, I was telling you, we're only going to be talking about minors 1 and 5 in this video. Minor 5 is expected to testify in addition to minor 1. That's the smoking gun to this trial, is that Sparkle's niece, her family, no one was willing to testify and identify her positively in the last trial, which is what made it so difficult. This time, they're testifying, okay? Minor 5 is expected to testify that R. Kelly began having sexual contact with her when she was around 14 or 15 years old, and that he would also often tape their sexual acts as well as sex acts involving her and other underage girls. Now, in one video that jurors are expected to see, R. Kelly is having sex with minor 1 at his home on Georgia Street in Chicago while she's wearing a distinctive necklace, which is the same necklace that prosecutors say that she's wearing in her passport photo that was taken around the same time. So in the early 2000s, Chicago police attempted to locate Sparkle's niece for questioning, but R. Kelly's team had her flown to the Bahamas and Mexico for weeks to get away from law enforcement. When they returned to Chicago, R. Kelly isolated Sparkle's niece from her family, monitoring her phone calls and moving her around to different hotels. And that lasted until her parents agreed to deny that it was her on the videotapes. Okay. Now, when police began to investigate the videotape in 2001, minor 5 initially identified minor 1, Sparkle's niece, as the girl on the footage. But later on, R. Kelly persuaded her to lie to the grand jury and say she didn't know of any sexual relationship between R. Kelly and Sparkle's niece. Now, after her, minor number 5, after her first sexual contact with R. Kelly, minor 5 was expected to testify as R. Kelly told her to. And R. Kelly told her, we all have secrets now. And so that was what it was. R. Kelly kind of got you to do something that was something that maybe you didn't want the world to know, or at least you didn't want your parents to know. And he would use that as blackmail to keep in his back pocket. And he told her, we all have secrets now, which is kind of what got her pretty intimidated, excuse me. So the girl depicted on the tapes who refused to testify in 2008, Sparkle's niece, is now cooperating with law enforcement, as is her mother. She's in her mid-30s now. She's expected to identify herself on the videos, and both her and her mother are expected to testify about the efforts that R. Kelly and his team went through to keep them quiet, including flying them out to the Bahamas and Mexico and giving her father, who was a bassist in R. Kelly's band, checks for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. Also, between approximately January of 2014 and approximately October 2015, R. Kelly caused monthly payments to be made to Sparkle's niece via R. Kelly's businesses. Remember that racketeering stuff from back up in New York, many of which contained settlement in the transaction line or something similar. R. Kelly made these payments to ensure that Sparkle's niece continued to abide by her prior false statements regarding R. Kelly's relationship with her, and to ensure that she continued to conceal and cover up the existence of multiple videos depicting R. Kelly engaged in sexual contact and sexual acts with R. Kelly. Okay. Now, the thing about this is they had a paper trail just as long as the day is. I mean, like, y'all are making payments, y'all are titling it settlement, and so on and so forth. You know, how stupid can you be? How stupid can you be? Also, in approximately 2014 and 2015, McDavid received payments from R. Kelly to protect R. Kelly's image and reputation amid actual potential crimes R. Kelly was committing or being held accountable for, and or civil actions that were taken by individuals who were victims of sexual misconduct by R. Kelly, including services that McDavid provided to falsify and create a false entry in a record, document, intangible object, and services that McDavid provided to conceal and cover up evidence of R. Kelly's sexual contact and sexual acts with minors. It's a lot going on with this McDavid. This McDavid was taking hits and doing dirt to help R. Kelly not go to jail, not be held accountable. Oh, you had sex with some kids? Let me help you cover it up for the sake of your reputation. You know, no amount of money is worth me going to jail for you. You could hire me to try to protect your reputation and do some PR damage, but baby, I am not going to jail. Matter of fact, it's not even that I'm not going to jail from you. Let me find out you fucking kids. Oh baby, I'm out of there. And I'm telling their parents. Yeah. And I might even hang around for an extra day or two to try and get some evidence, so that it's not just my word against whoever. Because you out of pocket.
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
But also in evidence, they're going to be talking about the tripods, the camcorders at his recording studios, tour buses, hotel rooms, the gym bag of VHS tapes containing child pornography he allegedly carried around, and the threats of civil suits followed by NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. This is crazy. This is pretty crazy. Tony says this trial was going to be lit due to the people who didn't testify, who will do it this time, and the defense are going to belittle them. Oh yes, they're definitely going to belittle them. You know, that is the defense's main goal, to muddy up the victims, to say that they're just, you know, promiscuous groupies, their parents served them up, you know, anything in the book. There's nothing that can excuse having sex with minors, in plural. It's not like you just accidentally did it one time with a girl who was like 17 years old and 11 months and 3 weeks. You did it multiple times over the course of 25 or so years. And the excuse is, oh, well, their parents gave them to them, signed them over. A parent cannot give consent for a child to have sex. Nobody can give consent for a child to have sex, especially with another adult. Are you mad? Because if you're saying, like, this is what a lot of the R. Kelly, a lot of what the P-Hive is saying is, oh, well, the parents should be in jail. The parents need to be arrested and R. Kelly needs to be free. If the parents need to be in jail for arranging for their kids to be with R. Kelly, you're also incriminating your buddy, your pissy friend R. Kelly too. Because he accepted the offer of people's children on silver platters. Are you not embarrassed? Being this dense, being this dumb, thinking that you can take the blame off of R. Kelly and place it solely on the parents. The best defense for R. Kelly's fans would be the parents should be in jail too. Not free him and lock up the parents. I'm convinced some of y'all didn't make it out of the 7th grade, but I'll continue. So let's talk about the judge in this case, right? This is a judge that don't play. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know I tweet mild updates throughout the day. I don't give you all that I got because I want to make sure you come and you get this syrup straight from me, right? And I want to make sure I put it in the proper context. This judge is not playing with R. Kelly. This judge has a reputation of not playing. Now, he's 85 years old, but look, Judge Harry Linenweber, okay? It's either pronounced Linenweber or Linenweber, right? I think I'm going to just say Linenweber because it's easier for me, right? He's a senior statesman on Chicago's federal bench. Like I said, he has a reputation for not playing with nobody. They say he's very fair and he has a low tolerance for nonsense. Now, August 3rd was the pretrial, and that's when he announced his expectation that the trial lasts no longer than 4 weeks due to a shortage of courtroom space and staffing. Okay, so he's not trying to let this play out for longer than it needs to. He's not wasting time. He's not allowing any frivolous motions to pause this, pause that. Hell, if you get sick, your colleague needs to pick up for you. That's exactly what he said. He said if a lawyer from either side catches the Rona, their colleagues will have to pick up slack. There are going to be no pauses and no breaks due to sickness. So, they can rely on the main attorney if they want to, but all of the attorneys and all of the prosecutors, defense or whatever, they need to be abreast on what's going on, because if somebody has to step out because they're sick, somebody else is going to have to step in, and they better be as sharp as the person that was in that original spot. Now, again, the judge is saying this can't be longer than 4 weeks due to a shortage of courtroom space and staffing, because the courtroom is in high demand as the courthouse is still operating over Corona-19 restrictions requiring masks, social distancing, and twice weekly testing. So he wants to keep the time-consuming sidebars to a minimum, and he set the hours of 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. So, each judge is different. Each judge is different. What I can say about the trial last year, that judge was not staying there until 5 o'clock. You could guarantee that by 2 o'clock every afternoon, they were let out of court. They were done. This is a judge that 10 to 5. And with the trial last year when I was covering it, sometimes they were starting court between like 8 and 9. But this is a judge where he's straight 10 to 5. I feel like the fact that he needed to say, I want to keep the time-consuming sidebars to a minimum, means that maybe he understood what happened in New York. There were an extreme amount of sidebars that just lasted way longer than they needed to. And this judge came in saying, listen, we're not playing them kind of games. Okay. So Judge Harry Lennenweber is the one running the show here. He also, this judge, decided that he wanted to have a confidential jury. Hold up. It's 450 of us here. I only got 230 likes. What's tea? Do we need to turn up? What's going on? Why haven't y'all hit thumbs up? Do y'all want to fight? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got my buddy over here. Do y'all want to fight? Exactly. Do they want to fight? They clearly want to fight. Look at him, Leo. Exactly. Let's run up. Because they playing these games.
Baltimore, I can't see you. Where you at?
Y'all killing me with this. I can't help.
Robert.
I will. You're killing me, man. This ain't not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment.
Man, y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me. Y'all trying to kill me. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with this. Y'all killing me with killing me, man. Trying to kill me. Killing me, man. Trying to kill me. You don't want to believe it. Trying to kill me. Killing me, man. Trying to kill me. I hope this camera keep going. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it.
Yes. Okay. Because all we asking for is some thumbs up. It's free. We're not begging y'all for no money. We appreciate it, we're not begging y'all for no money. Hit that damn button. I give y'all this information every day. Come on, show your girl some love. All right, but let's get into the judge rulings, right? The Judge Harry, decided to have a confidential jury, okay? Meaning that lawyers and defendants will know the names of the only lawyers and defendants will know the names and the backgrounds of the jurors, and they'll be identified by number and not name. Let me tell you how. R. Kelly and McDavid's attorney argued against this decision, and they said that the government has presented no evidence to suggest that the jury will be harassed during the trial. Every time you have a jury treated in that way, the jurors understand from the beginning that there's something they need to be worried about, thus reducing the amount of citizens willing to serve. Y'all understand how dumb that is? Do y'all watch and understand how dumb that is? Do you understand how much of a high profile case this is? How many of you think if the first and last names, the occupations of these people were published and a part of public record, how many of you think that they'll live in peace? Put a 1 in the chat if you really think that they'll live in peace. Put a 2 in the chat if it's hell no. It's common sense that you need to make their names confidential because the Beehive is unhinged. The media in general is unhinged, and they will contact them for information, for news publications, and all types of things that will not only taint their minds while they sit on the stand, it's going to taint the damn verdict of the jury. Why would you want the names of the jurors part of the public record? Oh, because if you tell them that their name's going to be private from jump, then they'll know right away that there's something to worry about. They should know that there's something to worry about because there is. Listen, I might not be down with R. Kelly and his behavior, but I ain't stupid enough to think that he ain't known around the world and that everybody don't know about this case and that anybody involved in this case will be harassed. God damn it, if I'm being harassed, I know goddamn well them jurors are going to be harassed. Stop playing with me. These people are crazy. Something's wrong with them. Something's wrong with them. It doesn't make sense. R. Kelly writes, Matt, I got to find that clip. Okay? Make it make sense. Obviously, the judge has a lot of common sense. Oh, a lot of common sense. The judge said R. Kelly's case has been so high profile that large groups of people feel strongly about it, and they're actively expressing their disagreement with R. Kelly's prosecution, especially on social media. Shielding information is important in pursuit to protect jurors from being contacted by media or the public for purposes of influencing a verdict. Duh. My 7-year-old nephew could tell you that. Obviously, the judge denied that motion. Okay? Also, another thing. Hey, James Weeping Bush in the building. Shout out to James Weeping Bush. Now, here's the thing. R. Kelly's attorney also decided to pass a motion because they sought to bar anyone from being on the jury who had knowledge or had seen any of the surviving R. Kelly series. They felt like, you know, they're going to be impartial and they're not going to be able to be unbiased if they've seen any of the surviving R. Kelly docuseries. Here is what R. Kelly's attorney had to say about jurors sitting and having had seen any of it. Okay. Now, again, the judge went ahead and denied this motion, this request to reject any prospective juror who had seen any part of the surviving R. Kelly docuseries. Obviously, his attorney didn't think anybody could remain unbiased. Now, mind you, I just want to remind you that this is Chicago, right? Like, this is Chicago. The trial is taking place in Chicago. R. Kelly is from Chicago. That's where he got his start, right? So you would think that he has the most love and or notoriety, right? Or visibility, relevance in Chicago. So a lot of people fear that, hey, he's from Chicago. How do you think that anybody from Chicago had not seen it or heard of it? Here's what's really interesting. So the judge went ahead and, like I said, the judge denied it. The judge denied it, right? This was an attempt to maybe get nobody on the trial. They really thought they couldn't find a dozen people in Chicago who hadn't seen it. But what the judge did was pretty interesting. The judge said, jurors' fairness will be determined on a case-by-case basis. The judge said, quote, it's one thing if they saw every single surviving R. Kelly episode recently, but it's different if they only seen a little bit of it a long time ago, right? So that's that. Now we'll get into which jurors were omitted or excused from the court proceeding based on their responses to the judge's line of questioning. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Okay. I see some Chicago people in the chat talking about it. Okay. Shout out to Tara Montgomery for joining the membership. Thank you so much for joining. And don't forget to check the membership community tab so that you can see all of the members only posts and lives. And then you'll have access to the, I'll be reading Joycelyn's little book after this live backstage. So you'll have access to that too. So shout out to you. So let's see. Now, based on the jury questionnaire responses, mind you, the jury questionnaire responses were based on the jurors answering these questions prior to coming in. So this was last week that the jurors answered these questions. 9 prospective jurors that had came in last week. Now, mind you, there were literally a little over 100 jurors in the pool of people that they chose from. And like I said, I think that Bone Jean, I think that R. Kelly's attorney's thought was, well, if we can convince the judge and anybody who has seen Surviving R. Kelly is going to be biased, then maybe it'll be impossible for us to find a jury. Yeah. She sounds like she's slow. But nonetheless, there were 9 prospective jurors from the questionnaire from last week. The questionnaire responses are different from the questions that the judge asked them today in court. There were 9 prospective jurors who said that they had seen Surviving R. Kelly, the documentary series. 47 gave ambiguous answers, and another 70 said that they hadn't seen it. Okay? 70 people, girl. You thought 70 probabilities. Okay, but let's keep going. That's based off the questionnaire. Now, when court adjourned today, 63 people were questioned by the judge, not the questionnaire, by the judge, and 29 of them were excused based off of their answers. Some of their answers, I ain't gonna lie, they were a little funny. And that's why the courtroom was actually laughing at some of the responses, which we're going to get to closer towards the end of the video. The reasons as to why some of those jurors got out of R. Kelly jury duty. God bless their eyes, baby, because who the hell wants to watch 4 R. Kelly sex tapes? Child. So the 63 people answered questions. 29 of them were excused, leaving 34 people still in the running to become jurors for the R. Kelly trial, okay? The judge expects, see, this is today, now he's still going to be asking questions tomorrow, right? And the judge expects to pick a dozen to 12 jurors that are necessary. He expects to be done that by tomorrow. And he wants to have the 12 jurors picked and the 6 alternative jurors picked done by tomorrow. As I was telling you earlier, this is a judge that is really good with deadlines. This judge doesn't have time for things to be rolling over. With Judge Ann Donnelly, she did run somewhat of a tight ship. Doesn't seem like she ran as much as a tight ship as this judge right here, but there were several things that kind of rolled over into days. This judge doesn't seem like he's letting that type of stuff happen. So McDavid's legal team wrote a strongly worded motion about the thought that prosecutors had botched the chain of custody for the key videotape that had Sparkle's niece on it back from the 2008 trial, right? And so that was R. Kelly's co-defendants attorneys line of thinking with his defense, right? However, right, they basically wanted that tape thrown out because they were like, look, the chain of custody is messed up. The judge said, no, I reject that. The witnesses are expected to authenticate that. Next. Literally, that's exactly how it went. The judge was not playing games. Not to mention, there were a couple of motions that a lot of us thought that hadn't been ruled on yet, that by the time court started today, they had been ruled on. It's just that the judge had ruled on them and didn't give them like access to like the public docket based off of the high profile nature of this case. So for the people who literally follow this trial, me being one of them, right? Like tooth and nail, we were wondering when certain motions were going to be decided upon, and we thought today was going to be the day. They were already done, literally. Over a dozen motions were done over the weekend and in secrecy. But the government also wrote a motion to exclude. Here's the thing, child. R. Kelly's IQ. Lord have mercy. R. Kelly's IQ score is, baby. R. Kelly's IQ score literally defines him as a box of rocks. Baby, I'm not lying to you. And so much so that the government wrote a motion to exclude testimony from an expert witness about R. Kelly's low IQ score of 79. You go research what the different IQ scores are. His IQ score being so low, right? The prosecution felt like, look, they're going to introduce his low IQ and try and make it seem like he's so stupid that he doesn't know right from wrong, that he doesn't know how to not have sex with minors. So we want to keep that out. We don't want them acting like he's so stupid that he don't know right from wrong. So that teeny ass minute IQ score, please don't bring that into court, because regardless of your IQ score, you should know not to fuck kids. That's literally what happened. Okay, because there's an expert witness. The defense had an expert witness who was actually able to clinically test R. Kelly, and the expert witness was able to confirm that R. Kelly is equivalent to the common sense of a doorknob, which is none, right? And so the judge granted that motion, right? The judge granted the motion, said, okay, he's dumb as shit. Don't say that in court, though, because you still should know right from wrong, right? Even my cat knows that, right? The judge granted it. Here go the defense, right? Well, the defense is like, we didn't even call on an expert witness. We weren't even going to introduce that to the court. Okay, well, we was just making sure, because y'all want to pull the slow card, this card. He was molested by his sister card. He had it rough growing up. He had hardships. He's illiterate. He can't count. He's been taken advantage of. Poor Robert. Don't nobody want to hear it. Don't nobody want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. You were smart enough to think that you had gotten away with something for 30 years. You knew you were doing something wrong. That's why they kept that little teeny ass IQ score out the court. Okay? That's why they kept it out the court. Stop playing. Stop playing. Yes, they did. The government said, don't let them introduce that shit. Shout out to a vibe called Yes. Okay. Thank you for joining the membership. Check out the membership tab so you can check out all of your perks that are exclusive to members only backstage. Now look, R. Kelly's lawyers wrote a motion to keep the testimony out, right? Now, I ain't gonna lie, both sides, the prosecution and the defense, they both wrote motions to keep things out of the court that were never gonna even be introduced. Both of them just nervous as hell. They like, look, this could cripple our defense and what we're gonna present. So here's the case, right? R. Kelly's attorney said, look, we don't want the court to know anything about, we don't want the court to bring up anything with regards to the 1994 illegal and illicit marriage to Aaliyah, because she was underage. Aaliyah was about 15 at the time when R. Kelly married her. And as well as testimony by Robert's accusers, who claimed that they were impregnated by him and that he arranged their abortions. R. Kelly's defense said, we want to keep that out of court. Him being married to Aaliyah, the abortions from the other woman, we don't want that out of court. The judge said, this is moot, because the government never planned to introduce any of this testimony anyway. So next, exactly how it went. R. Kelly's defense is so nervous that some of his highly incriminating things will be introduced that they drafted those motions. So the judge, not to say the judge doesn't care, but yeah, actually the judge doesn't care about the Aaliyah marriage and the pregnancies, and only because it's not relevant to this case and what they're talking about. They're focused on the 4 sex tapes, the 4 different minors, victims, and they're focused on the obstruction of justice. That's what this case is all about. Period, point blank. Okay. So what did James Beacon Bush say? We knew Robert was slow when he came. We knew Robert was slow when he came out with Trapped in the Closet 1-17. Hello. I ain't gonna lie. When I was in the 5th grade when Trapped in the Closet came out. I remember it so distinctly. I ain't gonna lie. It was good. It was like a soap opera that you listened to. It was like a hip opera. It was audio only. 1-5 was banging. I ain't gonna stunt you. I had every word remembered. I'm recording it on my boombox. You press play and record at the same time. Mind you, I'm in the 5th grade. I had no clue who he was or what he was doing in that year, right? Now you can't pay me to listen to an R. Kelly song, right? So 1-5 was good, and then he went up to 10, right? Then you got the midget that shit on themselves, and then he goes up to 20, then he goes up to 50. It's like, damn, brother, like, you know how they keep making movies and they need to stop? Scary Movie 1 was good, Scary Movie 2 was good. Some people like 3 before was out of pocket, right? I watched Pitch Perfect the other day. 1 was all right, 2 was all right, 3 is just too much. Why did he keep going with Trapped in the Closet? See, R. Kelly's the type of person, he literally doesn't know how to stop when good is good enough. Whether it came to the songs or whether it came to the victims. He had just as many installments on Trapped in the Closet as he had victims. Make it make sense? But all right, that's my little sidebar, because R. Kelly was somebody before I knew, or before it came out that he was doing all these things. I was really a fan of his music. I was. Okay. R. Kelly don't know when good enough is. Like, damn. It's too much. Okay, somebody said I'm guilty of liking Pitch Perfect. I seen Pitch Perfect for the first time yesterday. I fell in love with 1 and 2. 3 was a bit much, but nonetheless, let's get into some of the jurors' responses and the responses that got some of them dismissed. Okay, remember I was telling you earlier, some of there were around about a little over 100 people in the pool of jurors that they were choosing from and eliminating them for different reasons. I'm going to talk about the different ones that were dismissed. Okay, let's get into that. If you haven't already taken the time to hit thumbs up, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You wait for R. Kelly to get out? Get off my bus. Get off my bus, because it's never going to happen. Hit the goddamn thumbs up button. It's 12:19 at night. I got up at 7 this morning to get ready from work, and I'm here giving y'all what y'all need to be gave. Okay? Hit the button, and don't forget to share it on Twitter, Facebook, text message, your group chats, whatever the case is. Share this video with somebody that want the syrup. All right? They want the tea, they want the syrup. Get it over here. I'm be covering this trial every single day for the next 4 weeks, so get used to me. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell, right? Now, these jurors were being questioned one by one. And as I stated earlier, the jurors' fairness would be determined by a case-by-case, on a case-by-case basis, according to the judge. Again, the judge doesn't care if they've seen some of the Surviving R. Kelly series. The difference is if they've seen some or all of the R. Kelly, the Surviving R. Kelly series is what the judge really cares about, okay? Now, again, these jurors will question one by one. This is something that's going to stretch into tomorrow and hopefully no further. Now, the first juror was an attorney who stayed at home, right? This was a stay-at-home parent who wasn't aware of the case until she showed up last week to fill out the jury questionnaire. The second person up said that they were thinking about the case and the charges over the weekend, and they said, I no longer firmly believe that I can be unbiased. And she was promptly excused, right? Another prospective juror says he saw part of an episode of Surviving R. Kelly, but doesn't remember anything substantial about it. They say, I think I might have even fallen asleep before the end of it. So the judge excused 5 more people. 3 said they might not be impartial, 1 for hardship, and another whose job involves advocating for children. That person said, I would do my best to be fair. My only concern would be the defensiveness side kicking in, right? Obviously, that person was excused as well. It's nice that people are actually sitting there being honest about how, like, look, I might just call him guilty. I might not be able to be fair here. I think he's a piece of trash. And I think I'll be inclined to let that bother me and impact my decision-making process. That's nice. That's nice, right? Especially it gives less ammo to the beehive because they're thinking, oh, everybody's going to be impartial. No, there are plenty of people being honest about why they are going to be biased. Lord, they would never pick me, child. Baby, don't pick me. I've been told you real quick. Think he's a piece of shit. So Chicago's a small town. One woman says that she and her siblings used to take Taekwondo classes with R. Kelly's children. It could affect her ability to be impartial, she admitted, and the judge quickly dismissed her. So around about the time that they went on lunch break, about 30 potential jurors had been questioned by that time, and about half of them had been dismissed. And that's a preliminary count. Many of the people who were excused said that they would have a hard time remaining unbiased. And that's nice because the last thing that we need is a retrial or some type of, just sudden difficulty or something that the defense can hang on to say that this person is impartial or, they're incapable of being honest. So it's nice that they're weeding out people. Another juror says that they think at one point they may have written something derogatory online related to the case, but said that they can be fair, though. The judge dismissed them. Good move. Good move, right? You said you wrote something negative, but I can be fair. Obviously you can't. So the judge got rid of that person. And let me see. Another potential juror said that they know all about their surviving. They know all. Wait, hold up. One potential juror says all she knows about, right? All I know about the surviving R. Kelly series is that a friend told me if I watched it, I'd probably get out of jury duty. And that is when the entire courtroom laughed in unison. Now, she says she didn't watch it, but she said that her friend told her that if you did watch it, you would be excused from jury duty. Now, I know at that point in time when R. Kelly was sitting there, because it's not clear if the judge dismissed her. And I feel like if the judge had have dismissed her, it would have been written. Like that would have been reported, but it wasn't. I know R. Kelly was burning up.
Oh my God.
Her friend told her if she seen it, she would have got out. Oh my God. She gonna say that. Because the thing about it is, if she goes home and she continues to talk to that friend is gonna give her the rundown, child.
Oh my God.
Okay. So again, court was adjourned for the day. 63 people were questioned. 29 of them were excused, which leaves 34 people still in the running to be jurors in the R. Kelly trial. Okay. So this is an interesting situation. Let's see. Is there any additional information? Let me check. It's 15/5/59. Is there anything else? A gray suit? Nope. 63 people. I'll do my best to be fair. Nope. We don't have any new information. Die-hard followers, 2.5 years. That's not any new information. I caught all the stuff early. All righty. What are y'all thoughts? What are your thoughts about this jury? Do you think that they will be willing to be impartial? Do you think that some of them are going to be biased? What are your thoughts going on right here, child? Not if I had a scene and I would have been out of jury duty. She should have said she synced it. That's what should have been said. That's what should have been said. Not to mention, there were a couple of responses that got the whole courtroom to laugh. R. Kelly still has another trial coming up as well in Minnesota for, hey, Jennifer, girl, what you pissed about? Jennifer, what are you pissed about? Are you team R. Kelly or are you not team R. Kelly? Let me know down below in the comments. Do you know how hard it is for a black man to do an interview in a hot collar choking suit and not say, oh my God, you know what? That's a good question. That's a good question. R. Kelly does have another case in Minnesota coming up, and that is for solicitation, right? And it's unknown if that is truly his last trial. There's so many lingering charges across these different places. And, federal, when you have a lot of different federal stuff coming at you, when they're in different states and jurisdictions, they can all come at you separately. So there's no solid answer that says that Minnesota is his last trial. I doubt it. Throw some pancakes in the chat. We'll be right back. I'm gonna catch y'all questions and final thoughts. And then we're gonna see if y'all got y'all passports and y'all shots. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
So let's see if you're really about it. If you've been serious about what you've been saying about wanting to support more black-owned businesses, here's your chance. I found a spot for us to grab our hats, hoodies, affordable electronics, phone accessories, and gadgets from. It's over on edwersow.com. That's EDWERSOW.com. Grab something for your hubby, your wife. Hey, I ain't encouraging that side chick behavior, but it's just in time for the holidays. So head on over there and grab your AirPod cases, hoodies, and affordable electronics. That's edwersow.com, EDWERSOW.com. And I'll see you over there. It's time to face it, boo. Your product needs more exposure. If you want to see your ad here on my channel, be sure to shoot an email over to yt.theplainestjane@gmail.com and let's chat. But if you're new in my neighborhood here on YouTube, hey, I'm the Plainest Jane, and I provide coverage and commentary on trending stories, viral events, and Black culture. I definitely appreciate you stopping through and hitting that subscribe button if you like more of my particular brand of syrup.
All right, and we are back. Let me see. I saw a little comment here. It says, "Just free R. Kelly." Aw. You think they just gonna throw the sentence from New York out and then not go to trial in Minnesota and then end this trial right here in Chicago and just let your boy out on account of all of his unhinged fans? You being one of them? Aw. Aw. Woo! I'm so sorry. Some of y'all need help. And if you want R. Kelly free, y'all need to stay the hell away from kids too. That's what really. What about them parents? What about them? Do some of them need to be in jail too? Yeah, I do think that. I ain't even gonna lie. However, it is not gonna lessen your boy R. Kelly's sentence. Not one bit. Not by a day. Not by a second. None of that shit. So I mean, yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, get him. Like, it's not gonna help your boy. It's your boy. Yeah, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. And I'm so sorry that y'all think that. You know, it's really unfortunate that y'all thought process has been so crippled as much that you think that incriminating the parents is somehow gonna make things easier on your P master. That really sucks. And I wish y'all well. And when I say well, I mean mental wellness, because clearly something's not clicking. That elevator is not going all the way to the top. At all. At all. At all. Pray for y'all. Do you have your pass? Y'all, we're gonna be on a journey for the next 4 weeks. Y'all need to have y'all passports and y'all shots to even be watching these types of videos. What is wrong with y'all? Get your passports and your shots. Let's go.
I got it. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America?
He's so out of pocket. See, this is part of the evidence. This is for the P-Hive. This is for the P-Hive. He innocent. How is he innocent? He's sitting here recruiting on the camera. You tell me. This is just one of the many incriminating tapes. This is one of the PG incriminating tapes. But I mean, like, what is you talking about? Get your passports.
I got it. Do you have your passports? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America?
He a fool. Look at his face.
America. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. America. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Who wanna come back with us to America?
Where that face at? Hold up.
I got it. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America?
That's the one. That's the face. America. He out of pocket, y'all. He out of pocket. Fine, get him out my face.
Nigga, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, nigga. Real talk. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. How old is you is?
I'm gonna have to put that face on the thumbnail. I'm gonna have to put that face on one of these thumbnails throughout this trial. Fitna said wouldn't have to worry about parents if adult men would stay out of high school girls. Same goes for the point. Hello? Say it, Fitna. Say it, Fitna. I think I'm saying your name right, Fitna. Leo up here to make sure we acting right. Yeah, well, can you get down? You blocking the camera. Can you get down? Yes, can you get down? Please, get down. Get your butt out. Thank you.
America, do you have your passport? Did you get your choice? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America, America, beautiful. Do you have your passport? Did you get your chance? Who wanna come back with us to America?
All right, bye. Bye, Robert. Robert, get out my face. Thank you, Robert. Robert. Nothing beats the intro that I had. He said, do you like teenage girls? Rob said, when you say teenage, how are we talking? It was the genuine look of confusion on Robert's face at that time, though. That's what really gets me, because it's like, you can tell when somebody's toying around with you. Robert was really confused. It was that low IQ score kind of having an influence on the answer to that question. Oh my God. He was serious. I guess. I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry.
Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how are we talking?
Girls who are teenagers.
Rolex on your wrist, a plain giant.
Some stupid is really funny. I'm sorry. Some stupid is really funny. It really is. For real. Like that really cracks me up right there. That cracks me up. I ain't even gonna lie, yo. He said, make sure I understand this right. Because he said, I want to give the right answer. You would have thought he was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, child. He said, I got it, Regis. The 19-year-old, like, no. Whew. All right. Pow, pow. All right. Let's get out of here. It's time to read Joycelyn's little 11-page pamphlet, child. 11-page pamphlet. We're going to go ahead and we're going to read that backstage for the members only. Shout out to our channel members. It's a little over 200 of us. So I'm grateful to have y'all. We collected the Beyonce bingo numbers. This is like the last announcement. If you haven't already submitted your Beyonce bingo numbers, if you are a channel member, y'all know I'm giving away 3 of the Beyonce boxes. I ordered 4, obviously one's for me, and I'm giving 3 away to the channel members, and all the rules and all that stuff is backstage. So if you're a channel member, check the membership tab. You'll be able to see the rules. Enter, because by the time I get to work tomorrow at 9 a.m., I'm closing the entries, and then we'll see who are the 3 people who won the Beyonce boxes. Okay. So yeah, it's time for us to read the brochure backstage and crack the hell up. Okay, because I'm pretty sure it's funny. And honestly, my inkling before I even read it is that Jocelyn did not write that. I just don't think that she would throw her fiance that she's so crazy over. I don't think that she would throw him under the bus like that. She's still very madly in love with him, so much so that she's willing to lie for him. Some of the things that were said, even in the preview of the book, it's like, why would Jocelyn said that when all she's been doing is trying to make it seem like he's innocent? Some of the stuff that was said in the preview was like, you would expect the prosecution to be saying stuff like that, like in the courtroom. It really doesn't make sense. It's not that I want him to be innocent. It's not that I don't want Jocelyn to tell the truth. It's just that it doesn't match any of the things Jocelyn has said over the last couple of years. It doesn't. Not to mention, we haven't seen Jocelyn's face. We haven't seen anything. She hasn't came out to say, hey, I'm selling this book. If Jocelyn was to make one post, hey, this is my book, buy it, it would get the sales up. Jocelyn hasn't even came out and publicly claimed this book. I do think that there is somebody else who might be trying to impersonate her. It's weird. It's a weird situation with this pamphlet. They said Tim wrote it. I did see some rumors about that earlier today about her parents writing that book. I saw some people accusing Cash Jones of writing the book. If you know all of the, R. Kelly accusers or victims, you know who Cash Jones is. But shout out to C-San for joining the membership. Shout out to you. And shout out to, R. Kelly thought he was untouchable. I'm going to have some more clips that we're going to play tomorrow. And we'll see how far the judge takes it tomorrow. We'll see if we'll just be in jury selection. The prosecution is slated to make a couple of remarks tomorrow if we get past the remaining jury selection. So tomorrow should be interesting. The trial is just warming up. Y'all know it don't really get really interesting until we really get into accusations and and all that other stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the book. Shout out to all of the channel members. They did get that thing out late last week. Yes, they did get that thing out late last week before the trial started today. You know what? That's a good idea. Who said that? Because that's a really good. Who said that? They said the jury probably did it. I mean, the attorneys probably did it. Hold on. That's a good idea because they sure did make sure it was out on Friday. Somebody just said it in the chat, and I think I lost the comment. They said one of the attorneys put it out to taint the jury for today. I forget who put that in the chat, but the chat was moving pretty fast. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it is. Hey, Bree, shout out to you and welcome to the backstage, stickies and whatnot. We're going to see y'all backstage. We're going to go ahead and read this pamphlet. We're going to cut up. I ain't going to lie. We're going to cut up a little bit, right? I'm ready to relax. I got off work hours ago. I spent all my time doing this. I want to sit back. I want to relax. I want to cut up. I'm going to read the book. I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up and say anything while we are backstage. The 11-page pamphlet, I'll put it out for everybody else at a later date, maybe later this week. I might put it on the backup channel. If you haven't already taken a moment to subscribe to the backup channel, make sure you do so, okay? It's the TPJ network. I need to update the description box so that the description box actually reflects that. And y'all know how I do with the different bus stops. As soon as I end this live, you will see it's going to let you off into the chat box of the upcoming live that we're going to do as we read Joycelyn's book. So look, what I need y'all to do is tell me your thoughts down below in the comment section, whether you're on the bus right now, whether you're chasing the bus, which means you are catching the replay. Okay. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're at 12,100. We're going to keep going up, right? Kelly really could have gotten 10 years in New York, but he decided that he didn't want to take the plea deal. So that's on a whole nother thing. Distinctly Dree. Okay, I like that. Distinctly Dree. Thank you so much for joining the membership. So look, y'all make sure y'all stay beautiful, black, and blessed. Thank you for watching. Check the community tab out if you haven't already. Do something to decompress today. And of course, make sure you subscribe and thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. But be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of this celebrity or trending syrup or Leo. Okay, Leo and the rest of this R. Kelly trial. as we cover it, okay? Y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. Make sure y'all drop some pancakes down below in the chat. And y'all stay beautiful, black, and blessed. Until the next video. I'll see y'all backstage. Deuces.
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.